Well, the VA systems across the state of North Carolina have seen a lot of changes. We've talked to several of the new directors already on the show. Talk about how that's affecting things on your end, what you want to make sure happens at the VA systems across the state.
Well, what we need to do is make sure we maintain a focus on programs that I believe in, that the VA is already in process. The electronic health record, some of the changes to the scheduling system, empowering the VA facilities to make decisions without having to go to HQ for some of the more simple decisions that need to be made. Those are all very important transformation efforts that need to go on regardless of who is at the top of the VA. And we've got the commitment from the President and the acting secretary to move forward with these very important programs that I've been a part of for the last 3 years.
You just mentioned the acting secretary, used to be part of your office. Talk about having Mr. Wilkie involved, or Dr. Wilkie involved.
Well, first, it was a great honor to have somebody with his experience agree to come work for me for a couple of years in my Senate office. He's going to go back to his role in the Department of Defense at some point, but he's taken the active position. Couldn't be a better person in Washington to do that transitional role. He's been in the thick of the VA transformation work in my office. I've been working as a VA member with Veterans Affairs since my first months on the job there. So he's somebody that I know will provide continuity, and you want to see him focus energy, ask him what his priority is for veterans. He is himself a veteran. He is always after their best interests, and I know he's going to do a great job there.
He's from Fayetteville, I believe, correct?
He is. He grew up on Fort Bragg. I mean, he is born and bred North Carolinian. His father was a commander up at Fort Bragg, so he's got a long history there, and I know that his heart's in doing the very best he can for the soldiers in his DOD job and for the veterans in his acting job.
One thing I hear from a lot of veterans is the VA was broken. Is the VA still broken is the question I have for you.
Well, the VA, you have to look at the VA as one of the largest institutions. I think it's said that they'd be the 6th largest institution if they were a Fortune 50 company. So they're a very large, complex organization. There's always going to be room for improvement. I always am careful to say the whole of VA is not broken. What's working the best, if you go to an Asheville, it's one of the top-rated VA hospitals in the country. They're doing extraordinary work there. Same's true in Durham and in Fayetteville and in Salisbury. We've got great examples of how to do it right. We should always be improving, and we should never stop. There's always opportunities for us to do better, and sometimes facilities drift, and you got to hold them accountable, change the leadership when they're not performing, or change the processes when it's not the leadership.
I know I have seen those improvements across the board as well in the last several years. I know they're going to continue to work on that. I hope so. We'll all keep them accountable for that. What, though, do you hope to see the future of the VA? What do you hope to see that go forward? What is the solving problems type of situation? How are they going to be the best?
I think number one, we need to get away from this discussion about how we want to fully privatize the VA. That doesn't make sense. There's a place for a brick and mortar presence, a place where veterans can come together and be served. 50% of the people that work for in VA Health at the provider level are veterans themselves. So keeping and building on that, but still providing the veteran a choice to go to a private doctor, to get their care when they need it, where they need it. I think if we just continue to focus on that and have continuous improvement, it'll always get better. We don't ever want to backslide. We want to hold people accountable and keep track.